Hey everybody, it's Devstro and I'm back, so let's get to this thing and talk about the Lord choices. First one for the Lizardmen army in the Warhammer Fantasy Battle game is the Slann Mage Priest, and there they are. These are the old style models. They did a little bit of a retcon, I believe the term is, where they went back and changed things in the fluff. The Slann used to be held aloft on this thing here, and I did a little bit of research for my viewers. For years I've been just calling these things palanquins or palanquins. I looked it up. It's palanquin. Say it with me, palanquin. So you can say that at your game store and everybody will try and correct you, but you know you'll be right because you heard it here. Anyway, they had these temple guard carrying the my opponents always call these guys the bloated toad, carrying them around, and the temple guard could fight. So in previous editions this guy was not only a really cool spellcaster up to a level 4 wizard, they also had some fighting skills to him too, and you could give him a magic weapon and have him carving up things. Not so much anymore. They are, you've probably seen the new models, they're just floating around in a little disc. They use their mental powers to levitate it, and there's one tiny skink that hangs out with them, and that's how they get their one attack on their profile. 275 points just to put this guy on the table. What does that get you? Well, Leadership 9, that's pretty cool because you combine it with the Lizardmen special rule of cold-blooded. That means for each leadership test they roll 3 dice and they get to kick out the highest one of those 3. So I haven't crunched the math or anything to see what effectively that turns into, but it's pretty cool having it that high. Toughness 4, 5 wounds, and that's really about it that we're talking about on their stat line because it's not too impressive. Unit strength of 3, so if these guys are in a unit, you're going to get a benefit from the lookout sir roll. And they get a 4+ ward save. That's called Shield of the Old Ones. And they have some special rules if they're included in a unit of Temple Guard. And it's something that I usually do because it just looks better. The model has Temple Guard on it, and I've got the old style Temple Guard. Again, here with my bases, I know I take a lot of flock for my bases. Anyway, to me it's important. These guys, I painted them maybe 13 years ago, so that's what my flocking technique looked like at the time. I realize a lot of y'all is probably thinking it hasn't really evolved much, Dev. Yeah, well, to me, I don't want to go back and touch up my old models or anything. I just sort of leave them as is. I mean, if they get chipped, something like that, I'll go back and redo it, but I'm not going to repaint them. I like to look at them and go, hey, this is where I used to be skill-wise, and I've improved since then, and it gives me a better idea of where you are now if you can look back and see where you've been. That's just my philosophy. Anyway, enough about that. Back to the Slann here. They have these things called Disciplines of the Ancients, and they can take up to 4 of them. You get 1 free, and for each other one you want, it's 50 points, up to 4. So they allow you to customize your Slann, give them some different little tweaks. So everybody's going to have an opinion on which ones are the best. I'm not going to tell you which ones are best or anything, or try and defend my position. I'll just tell them all to you and tell you which ones I like to use. For my freebie, I'm always going to take the one that gives you a free power dice. He's level 4. They can pick 1 discipline out of those in the rule books, and they can pick their spells from that one particular discipline. So I like one that gives you a free power die. Every time you cast a spell, you take his power dice, and you can throw in a free one every time you cast. Now, of course, this could lead to some bad things, some miscasts, but I just like getting those free dice. There's another one that's pretty neat, where if there's an enemy wizard within 24 inches of you during his magic phase, if he rolls any 6s, he's got to discard them. That's kind of neat. You only get to pick 1 enemy wizard for that, though. Earlier I talked about putting these guys in a unit. I like to do it, but I think they can be viable just out there on their own, and there's a few of these disciplines that help with that. There's one so that they're basically ethereal. They can only be hit by magic attacks. One where they regenerate. One where they're magic resistance 3. And then there's a couple of these that they're probably not my most favorite because I think there's magic items that you can buy that are cheaper that do kind of the same thing. One is you get terror, and another one is you can reroll miscasts, but you got to take the second result. And one gives you all spells of your chosen lore. For 25 points, you can also make them a battle standard bearer, which is a pretty good deal, and they can have a magic banner. And that's not going to count against their magic items allotment. Did I mention that? They also can have up to 100 points of magic items. So if you took a Slann Mage Priest and you made him a battle standard bearer and you gave him an expensive magic banner and you gave him 4 disciplines of the old one, ancients, and 100 points of magic items, he'd clock in at 600 points. So I'm not going to go into great depth about each and every single magic item that you could get for these, but just point out a few that are neat. One of them is called the Horn of Kygor. Costs 100 points, but it makes all friendly cavalry within 12 inches stubborn. Yeah, stubborn. So put these guys in a unit of Temple Guard, put some Saurus on some cold ones, and then they're going to be leading units of Saurus that are within 12 inches of these guys, hopefully, so then they will be stubborn. You can have a huge stubborn courier army. Never tried it, but it sounds good on paper. Theory hammer for you. For 30 points, you can get a 2+ ward save versus ranged attacks. You already got a 4+ ward save. If you're paranoid about those Empire Dwarven cannonballs coming down and crushing you, you can go that way. But they're in a unit. They'll benefit from Lookout Sir because they're only unit strength 3. So I don't know. I'm not too worried about the cannonballs. And even if you do fail your Lookout Sir, you still got the 4+ ward save. 45 points, Cupped Hands of the old ones. It can give a miscast to an enemy wizard, and then they suffer its effects. That's pretty nasty. It's only 45 points, so I'd prefer getting that over the 50-point discipline where you can re-roll your own miscast. And then 25 points, Diadem of Power. You can save up to 2 power dice for using the Dispel. Handy when you're going up against the undead and you want to stop their invocation where they keep recasting it. And there's another one, I forget what it's called, a plaque of something where you get 1 additional spell. And I prefer that one. Yeah, you can take the discipline that gives you all the spells. But they're already a level 4. If you take 1 more spell, you're going to get 5. So you're going to get 5 out of those 6 spells. I'd go for that one. So here they are. These are the Slann Mage Priest. I had 2 of them back in the day. You weren't limited by lord choices and hero choices. It was percentage of points, and you could throw 2 of these guys in an army because they weren't automatically a level 4. So been quite a while since both have been on the table. Sometimes I like to put greeny out. Sometimes I like to put purpley out. The green one was the one I did first, so he's got a bit less detail. Things are just a flat color in the gold, versus here I've sort of picked out the gems and done faces and stuff. It's my first attempt at wet blending on the belly. It looks better from a distance, you know, if you get, whoa. See, if you get it right up on it, it gets too blurry to see. So, alright, and apologize for the delay in getting this out. I've got hooked on terrain. Like Terrainaholic, that's an excellent name because it's addictive once you start making the terrain. Anyway, that's a story for another video. Keep your eyes peeled. The next Warhammer Lizardmen installment, we'll be taking a look at Saurus characters. Exciting stuff. Stay tuned.